You are watching Political Point Magazine. Where the right is right and the left, well, the left is always on the wrong side of history. Why? Because political minds want to know. So enjoy a conservative point of view. And let's talk pea soup. With tonight's top stories. A primary upset spells victory for the Tea Party and expands the GOP. Bad news for the Democrats. And Iraq falls into terrorist hands. Could this be the new war on Iraq? We shall see, because Obama's failed foreign policy is on display here. And we will talk about that. And the Bergdahl trader deal heats up outrage. Let me tell you. All right. And also, Hillary is out of touch with the American people. Oh my gosh, you gotta see this. Oh my gosh, we will talk to you, the viewer. We will take it to the phones and talk to you, the viewer, about all of this and more on tonight's episode of Political Point with your humble host, me, William Mitro. I'm so sorry that I can't get that straightened out here. But anyhow, welcome, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Political Point Magazine. I am your humble host, William Mitro. Yep. Alrighty. So. Alright, my friends. It just seems to me like we have been going through this over and over and over again, and it's like a great big turnoff. Okay, but situations have been heating up from everything from the Bergdahl trader situation to Iraq, and now we have a brand new political situation here. All right, in which, my friends, I'm so sorry, but I got to adjust this. But anyhow, it appears to me that there's a lot of fuss and talk being discussed about what happened last week. Okay, this happened. I believe it was Thursday. Thursday. All right, Thursday night. We had a primary victory for the primary the GOP primaries in Virginia. All right, this the latest. All right, now it was all throughout this campaign and primary season. Okay, all throughout this, there was so much discussion and so much talk over what was going to happen and how the formats were going to come into play here. Because a lot of people seem to think or believe that it was the establishment Republicans versus the Tea Party. Okay. I, however, did not see that way. But, however, my friends, we have a political victory for the Tea Party. All right? And Eric Cantor, my friends, we begin today with Eric Cantor loses primary to Tea Party candidate David Brat. All right, but now we will show you the clippage here. All right, the concession speech from Eric Cantor here.
So that they can help solve the problems for so many working middle-class families that may not have the opportunity that we have. We can also put our solutions to work for the most vulnerable. You know, I've spent a lot of time on charter schools and education opportunity to make sure that everyone in America can have access to that American dream, starting with a quality education. You know, we talked about, you know, research a lot in my office and in our campaign and in Congress. I'm really proud of the Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act. Because what it says as conservatives, that we don't believe you ought to spend taxpayer dollars on political conventions. That in fact, it's probably better to help cure disease, because not only do you save lives and help people, you can ultimately solve the federal deficit problem by bringing down healthcare costs. So these are the kinds of things that I know we'll continue to work on. You know, I know there's a lot of long faces here tonight, and it's disappointing, sure. But I believe in this country. I believe there's opportunity around the next corner for all of us. So I look forward to continuing to fight with all of you for the things that we believe in, for the conservative cause, because those solutions of ours are the answer to the problems that so many people are facing today. Thank you all very, very much.
And as you see there, Eric Cantor loses to Tea Party candidate, David Brat. All right, okay. Eric Cantor, as you see there, okay. David loses. He got David Brat, the Tea Party candidate, got 55%, over 55% of the vote, and Eric Cantor got over 44% of the vote. So you see the dividing line there, all right, and it's quite interesting to note that that we had this going on, because you know it's like, but you see, I see this very interestingly, all right, okay. Now many people were in over their heads over this, and I saw a lot of the tweets on this. All right, but people were like, oh no, that Tea Party, that just goes to show you that the direction the Republicans are going, and then there was the one about let's see, the Democrats were ranting and raving over this is very, very, very good for us. Oh, they were almost, it almost made me barf that they think that this is good for them. But no, this is not good for them. Okay, this is not good for the Democrats. Okay, the Democrats should not be celebrating over this. You know why? Okay, the Democrats should not be celebrating over this, because this is a victory for the GOP, actually. Okay, now this whole establishment versus the Tea Party thing, okay, now, if it weren't for the Tea Party, okay, the Republican Party would be kind of dull and bland, all right? Now, I tweeted that right after the primary results came in, and they showed David Pratt winning and stuff. You know, the Cantor campaign thought that this was going to be their big day, okay, their big time, okay, because you know, and then you know, I got totally appalled when I heard that that Mitch McConnell was saying that we're gonna destroy the Tea Party, okay. Because you know, the Republicans shouldn't be like that, okay? I see this as a victory for the GOP, and even more so for Senate Republicans. Okay, now Eric Cantor, by the way, was the number 2, second in command in the House. Okay, and this is the very first time that another big major party candidate, okay, has gotten recognition over this. All right, and the whole situation here. All right, but you see, what I think is going on here. Okay, with this whole thing. Okay, I see this as a victory for the GOP. Okay, because like I said before, I tweeted this, that if it weren't for the Tea Party, the GOP would be kind of bland, and and we need this in the GOP. So this expands the GOP, and this also is more threatening to the Democratic Party. All right, because now it just clearly shows how, how people nowadays can see things so out of touch, And many people were saying also that Eric Cantor lost because of his stance on immigration reform. Okay, well that I believe wasn't the whole deal. Okay, because we had in South Carolina, Republican, or was it North Carolina? But anyways, Republican establishment candidate Senator Lindsey Graham, okay, won in a landslide, okay, because he actually embraced the Tea Party. All right, he ran on a conservative campaign, and he embraced the Tea Party. All right, so this is actually good for the GOP. All right, now we have the Tea Party candidate, okay, which as you know, okay, which as you know, expands the GOP. All right, this is very, very breaking news. Okay, it's a major establishment thing with this now, and we can tell that everything is in play. All right, so now we have this situation here where everything is coming into play here. So I see this as a threat to the Democratic Party. Okay, the Democratic Party has no chance in keeping the Senate right now because the Tea Party has strengthened the GOP. All right, the Tea Party has strengthened the GOP, and this is very bad news for the Democrats. All right, the Democrats now, they don't have a strategy. They don't have a strategy. Okay, this is because you know what the Tea Party does for the GOP? Okay, the Tea Party does for the GOP. Okay, much more than the failed Occupy movement. Okay, the Occupy movement was so for the democratic causes and stuff like that, but they were too radical, too violent, too extreme. All right, and every position, every place that they occupied, you notice they got kicked out and evicted. All right, from it. Okay, and this now strikes me as very, very odd. Okay, that the Democrats would be so elated and stuff, okay, over this. Okay, now Tea Party establishment candidates, or Tea Party, the Tea Party now is victorious because of the way they run. David Brat, ran on all the conservative principles of the GOP. Okay, and he won in a landslide. All right, he won in a landslide. All right, so we see here that this is so interesting that we have this situation here that it's just I can't express it any further that this right here, okay, that the GOP now benefits from the Tea Party, okay, and Eric Cantor loses to David Brat, okay, in Virginia. All right, so now there's going to be a run. There is a running in and a vote for House Majority Leader. All right, because Cantor was the second in command, and he was the majority whip, and he was said to be the next speaker of the House, but now there's a runoff in the House now to elect a new now the new leader of the House. All right, of which, okay, this is truly amazing. Okay, truly amazing. Okay, that we now can and will see that the Tea Party now is victorious in expanding the GOP. All right, expanding the GOP. So we see this as a victory now. Okay, very very big victory. Very big victory for the GOP. All right, and I can't express it enough. All right, I can't express it enough. All right. Okay. Yep. Okay, so we have that. All right. And my friends, this is quite interesting because now as things heat up now, all right, as things heat up now, we have a new controversy. Okay? We have a new controversy. Iraq has fallen to the terrorists. All right? Yep. Iraq is falling to the terrorists. Guess what? In the daily news, it says hell is back. All right? Hell is back. You see that? So we have the terrorists. Now the terrorists have now taken over in Iraq. Okay? So we have a new Al Qaeda in Iraq here. All right? And this is all a result of Obama's failed foreign policy. Okay? His failed foreign policy. All right. So Iraq is in chaos now, and now just today, Obama said that he's going to he's going to send in troops, and stuff, and John Kerry today said that we're probably gonna send drones over there. And stuff like that. So now this is the new Iraq war, which Obama screwed up everything, okay? Because it all started now with Obama's failed foreign policy when he moved troops out of Iraq and into Afghanistan, all right? And that set it up for Al Qaeda and other terrorist networks to move back in to Iraq. Okay? And what it said to the terrorists and what it said to the Iraqi people is, oh, so the Americans don't care anymore. Okay, about our well-being. Okay? And it said to the terrorists that, oh, so topple an evil dictator, okay, that was in league with Al Qaeda, and then supposedly fix everything, and install a government and of elected properly elected officials and stuff, and then just leave. Okay? See, Obama should have put a residual force in there. He should have left a residual force in there to begin with. All right? Because when we left Iraq and went back into Afghanistan, because Obama thought it was the appropriate war to be fighting here. All right, and as we see, they've taken over Tikrit, Samarra, Ramadai, and Fallujah, and Kirkuk, and they're heading towards Baghdad. Okay, so it's not looking good, my friends. It's not looking good. All right, Obama's foreign policy is on display. That's right. Obama's foreign policy is on display, and he's like in over his head on this. All right, and it's just ridiculous. Okay, and I can't imagine, that this happening to another president. I mean, if had it been a George W. Bush, okay, or had it been, sorry about that. Okay, all right, here we go. Sorry about that. But anyways, had it been a George W. Bush, all right. Okay, had it been a George W. Bush who left Iraq, the media would be all over it. Okay, and then also the other countries, we are seen as weak now. Okay, in fact, I have several tweets on this. Okay, but let me just show you the others. Okay, but Obama's foreign policy is on display. All right, and it's just not looking good. Okay, the terrorists have taken over Iraq, and it's just, all right, it's just ridiculous. All right, Obama's foreign policy is just a disaster. All right, okay. Let me tell you. Okay, it started with his apology tour. All right, and Obama, just didn't get the memo. Okay, hello, we're still fighting the war on terror. Okay, and this whole situation in Iraq proves it. All right, okay, and Obama refuses to call them terrorists, what they are. Obama just refuses, and because he has this still so stupid idea that just because we killed bin Laden, we ended the terror war. Okay, he has this stupid idea that if we end the war, you just bring the troops home. Okay, and that's it. Okay, this is just pathetic, Mr. Obama. Listen up. There's violence and stuff already in Iraq again, all right, because of your mess-ups. All right? We are still fighting the war on terror. All right? Understand that. All right? And I've had several I've seen all the tweets on this, but I'm going to show you some. All right? But here is some of them, okay? Like this one right here, from Tariq Fatah. All right, take a look at this one. All right, tweets on Twitter. Okay, U.S. money down the drain in Iraq. 57 billion. 184,400,000. All right, and then there's this one from Tariq Fatah, also, where he says, "Understand." Oh no, this one's from Horowitz at Horowitz 39. Okay, understand. Obama wants America's enemies to win. Wants to bankrupt the country wants to destroy our borders. He hates the Constitution. All right. So this whole thing is just so outrageous that Obama just doesn't get it. He hasn't solved the problem in the Middle East. All right. Taking troops out of Iraq just didn't help. Okay. So this whole thing is out of touch and stuff. But it just reminds me that Obama just doesn't get it. He's out of the loop on everything, and it all started with his failed foreign policy. Also started with Obama on his apology tour, apologizing for the way America has fought the war on terror. All right, and it's just ridiculous. All right, now let me get into one thing here, another thing here, where let me get into something else here. All right, because now Hillary Clinton is in the news now. All right, and she has a new book out, right? Okay, but apparently Hillary was on the news, okay, and she was trying to seem like she was trying to paint the picture that she was middle class. All right, but you got to see this. This is bad. All right, Hillary Clinton. All right, you have to see this. All right, okay, and and it does come back to bite Hillary. Okay, but take a look at this. All right, take a look at this. All right, okay. Whoops, hold on a second. All right, so take a look at this. All right, as we go into another in our series here, but take a look at this. But Hillary Clinton is displaying that she is out of touch. All right, take a listen to this. All right, here it goes. All right.
The White House not only dead broke, but in debt. We had no money when we got there, and we struggled to, piece together the resources for mortgages, for houses, for Chelsea's education. It was not easy.
Really, it was not easy. But then take a listen to what she's really getting the heat for. All right.
The most important thing I did was to help restore America's leadership around the world. And I think that was a very important accomplishment. We were flat on our back when I walked in there the first time. We were viewed as being untrustworthy because of the 8 years that preceded us. It was the economic collapse. It was 2 wars. It was the war on terror that led to some very unfortunate un-American actions being taken. And that was my biggest challenge.
Wait a minute here now. Hillary is out of touch with the American people. All right, on this, okay? She's saying that she's flat broke, which was flat wrong, okay? Flat broke when they got into the White House. Yeah, right. Okay, bull crap. All right. Mind you, when they left the White House, she claims that they were flat broke. Excuse me, Hillary, you had at least three other book deals. All right, and you were making millions off these books. All right, and let me just tell you, okay? Let me just tell you here, all right? And let me just tell you here, Hillary is out of touch here, okay? Now, does this have something to do with the income inequality thing? All right. Now, mind you, what Hillary doesn't tell you, okay, is she was even, during her when she was first lady, and also when she was senator, all right, she was profiting off off her book deals. All right, she had 3 other books, Living History, okay, and It Takes a Village, and also an invitation to the White House at Home with History. All right, so she was making millions. She was basically a millionaire as she went into the White House, and also when she left the White House. So, so it's like you can't claim that you're middle class, and you can't claim that you're a part of the American people when the rest of us are suffering, and you have been profiting off what you have been doing. All right, you can't claim all this, and this just goes to show you how very unqualified Hillary would be as president. All right, she is totally unqualified to be president, and this whole nonsense over we were dead broke, flat on our backs. Please. That's ridiculous. Everybody knows the Clintons were a large name, widely known, and stuff. I mean, her husband was governor of Arkansas, for crying out loud. Okay? This no. This isn't going to fly with the American people. She has a new book out now, and she doesn't tell you this. And she's going across the country with it now on her book tour, And then, you really think that the American people are going to buy this nonsense? I don't think so. It's a bunch of bull. Or I should to quote a phrase from Vice President Joe Biden, it's all malarkey. All right. Okay. So it's not gonna fly with the American people. Okay. We all know that Hillary is horse crap. Okay. Hillary's not gonna make it to the White House again. Okay, she's not gonna make it. All right, and anybody, and the rising star in the Republican Party now is Rand Paul. All right, so if Hillary does run, she's gonna lose in a landslide. She is out of touch with the American people. That's just the way it is, my friends. All right, and now before I get to the phone lines now, I want to get to something. Really in other cycles here, all right, is the Bowe Bergdahl situation here, right? But Bowe Bergdahl, as you know, has been all the hype and stuff like that in this now. And we see that with all the hype that's gone on about this, all right, Bowe Bergdahl, I've seen all the tweets on this, and it's like people do not buy the fact that why Obama sold this country out. Okay, he sold this country out. Okay, he's a sellout. All right, and many people do not like the fact that he went so far to save a deserter. All right, now I've seen the tweets on this too. All right, and I want to get it. And on my phone, I have them all. All right, but I want to get into them because there's something truly interesting to get out of all this. All right, because Obama just doesn't get it. Okay, just doesn't get it. Okay, now we have an anti-American president here that just is harboring, just supporting terrorist organizations and our terrorist enemies. All right, this is just ridiculous. All right, okay, and with that, my friends, as I look through this, all right, there's several tweets. Okay, there's several tweets that I missed here. All right, and I wanna get to one in particular, but I think I'll take the phone calls while I'm looking for that one tweet. All right, because it's very, very interesting. Okay, what is going on here? All right, we need to take control of the situation, and we need to understand what is going on in the world around us. So it's 272-3835 is the number if you are paying attention. Okay, now, but we have a situation here. I'm going to get into the Bergdahl thing. All right, I'm going to get into the Bergdahl thing because, you know, this guy deserted his platoon and Congress was not informed about this deal, right? Obama went around Congress, you know, didn't consult with Congress on this, you know, and that got members of both parties teed off, all right? Even Senator Dianne Feinstein was so teed off about that, you know, and I you know, there is no excuse for this president's behavior, all right? Is he for us or against us? All right? This is just ridiculous. I can't imagine anything less than defeat. You know, we are seen as weak because of this president. Okay? We are seen as weak because of this president. It's not working out. Okay? Al-Qaeda is alive and well, and other terrorist networks are alive and well, as we see from the destruction and the fighting going on in Iraq, right? We are forced to go into Iraq again, all right? To help and aid the Iraqi government and the Iraqi military, all right? This is truly unprecedented. Brutal scenes from Kirkuk in Iraq. Al-Qaeda executes fleeing Iraqi soldiers. All right. Now, does anyone know who pays ISIS wages? That was a tweet. All right. That I just read off to you. All right. But you know, and the situation is not looking good. All right. Now, with the release of the 5 terrorists or Taliban terrorists, all right, that opens it up for them to fight and live another day, live to fight another day, all right, you know. So, and what is Obama thinking in all of this? All right, what is he thinking? My friends, are you paying attention? 272-3835 is the number. All right. Okay, and I want to get this straight. All right, because we're not in a situation here where things are looking up for us. Okay, things are not looking up, and it's not. You know, who in their right mind does this? I mean, the president is just out there. Okay, you know, and now, you know, because the president messed up. Okay, the president messed up now, and because of that, his mess ups, All right. Imagine if this was George W. Bush that did this. All right. But George W. Bush would never do this. All right. George W. Bush would never create this type of foreign policy. All right. You're just playing with fire now. Okay? You're sparking the flame all around the world. Okay? You're sparking the flame. Mr. Obama, get it straight in your head. All right? Get it straight in your head. You're not benefiting the United States. We are still $17 trillion in debt. And you know, and another thing that puzzles me is, okay, another thing that I find truly amazing about this president here is he's not only helping our enemies, all right, but he's also helping the other countries that are benefiting from our mess ups. He's helping China, which now owns us. He's helping Russia, you know, in a indirect sort of way. All right, you know, Russia is benefiting from all of this. You know, Russia's getting stronger, America's getting weaker. China's getting stronger, America's getting weaker. All right, you get the picture here. All right, this is what Obama's doing. He's making us weaker. All right, his whole policy is backwards, foreign-wise and domestic-wise. You know, our public policy is all backwards. It's all backwards. So President, as far as economically, you know, President Obama feels that you know, government knows best by just throwing money at the situation. You know, when he bailed out the auto companies and bailed out the banks, you know, and then most of those people went bankrupt. Detroit went bankrupt. Hello, you know, you can't even set foot in that city anymore. You know, it's so bad in Detroit. You know that you know people. You know, it's so bad in Detroit. Their politicians there are so corrupt. You know, and Obama said that, oh, he's betting on saving Detroit. You know, he's betting on Detroit. Well, guess what? You bet on Detroit and you failed. Okay? You failed, Obama. Detroit's a mess now. Okay? Who would want to live in that city? You know, it's a disaster. That's what the D in Democrat stands for. Disaster. You wouldn't have this if you voted Republican. Okay? And now with the victory of the Tea Party and the GOP getting more expansive, more big tent, and more bolder, all right? This is definitely better for America that the GOP win. The GOP and the Tea Party win. All right? It's better for America because everybody now is seeing the disastrous side effects of the Obama administration policies. All right? You know, even people that used to work for the Obama administration are coming out now and saying how bad the administration is, how bad it was to work for them. You know, and it's you know, and it's showing. Obama's giving a bad name to America. All right? He's giving a bad name to his people. All right? And he's giving a bad name to the Democratic Party. Okay? He definitely will go down as the worst president of our time. All right? And I know this. Okay? You can't deny this. Right? You can't deny this. Obama is the worst president in history. Right? You can't deny this. The facts, I've displayed them several times on my show. You can't deny this. All right? It's just undeniable. Okay? and I feel sorry for anybody who thinks Obama is just the greatest president. Okay, the greatest president. All right, now, and I just don't know, people. Okay, now, unless America wises up, all right, we will never get to understand what America comes and understands. See, okay, now, but anyhow, my friends, it's quite interesting to note that this is coming down to the wire. All right. But my friends, understand that a Republican victory, okay, in November now is coming, right? With the House and Senate races and everything, and I feel it. I feel the Republican Party now is getting stronger with their message, stronger with their determination, and stronger in policies. All right, because the Democratic Party now has failed miserably. All right, has failed miserably. We're not in a position where we're not in a position where we are in good standing with the world community. Okay, that just goes without saying. Okay, that just goes without saying. Okay, now, who's out there? Okay, 272-3835 is the number. Okay, and I want to get your views on everything that I've talked about. Okay, because we are at that turning point. Okay, and everybody needs to understand this. Okay, everybody needs to understand this. Okay, what is on your political mind? What do you make of all this? Okay, what do you make of all this? Okay, I want to get your views. Okay, so everybody, now. Come on now. I know you're out there. Okay. Come on, I know you're out there. 272-3835 is the number. I'm waiting for people, that actually understand the situation, that actually can make heads or tails of it. All right, I want your views. Let's create some dialogue here. All right, okay. Come on now, I know you're out there. I know you've been listening. Okay. Come on now. I know you're out there. Come on. What is the deal? Okay. 272-3835 is the number. All right. Now. Okay. Come on, my friends. All right. Well, let me get into some other things here then. While I'm waiting for calls. All right. Now, I know that people have been paying attention because I am approached on the street all the time about things that are going on, and it strikes me. I love to chat with people about what's going on in our political society, our political world. And it just moves me that people actually have been watching my show, and I get that a lot of people feel that I am doing a good job looking out for the American people on this show. Okay, because that's what I do here. All right, that's what I do here. Okay, I take everything into consideration. I do all the research, and I keep people informed. Okay, that's what I do here. All right, and I want people to get involved with their political system. Okay, if you're just sitting there and complaining about your situation, then what are you doing to make your situation better? All right, I think you should get involved, okay, in your political system. Okay, maybe run for political office and make a change yourself. Okay, because I've said many times that I'm going to run for the United States Senate at some point. All right, and looking at the elections and how Tea Party candidates can beat the establishment because they have no backbone, and they're not doing the actual policies that they campaigned on. Okay, they're caving. This is what the Tea Party has been saying. Okay, that the establishment has been caving. Okay, and the whole deal over the deficit and the debt ceiling and everything, and those negotiations, we seem to be bad negotiators. Okay, especially with the Bergdahl deal. Okay, that deal went down and it was just horrible. Okay, horrible for the country, horrible for everybody. All right. Okay, we have people in positions of power that are just totally destroying this country. All right, but the Tea Party victory is a victory for the GOP. All right, and that's what I'm gonna say about it. All right, and as for that now, my friends, okay, I need to take it to the last words of the night here. All right, so, but I need to take it to the last words of the night. All right, so on that note, okay, the last words of the night. Okay, since we had no phone calls, well, they've been following people for years, and for decades, and now you can finally follow the CIA. That's right, my friends. Okay, that's right. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get this up here. All right, because we definitely got to get that up here. Okay, but you can follow the CIA now. They're on Twitter now. Yep, that's right. Okay, that's right. Yep, they're on Twitter. Okay, and I want to show you this. Okay, but here is the first thing you need to understand here. Okay, but the last words of the night, and I want to get to this right here. All right, but the Twitter feed from the CIA. All right, and you're gonna laugh at this. Take a look at this. All right, this is their first tweet. We can neither confirm nor deny that this is our first tweet. Okay. But my friends, but that, my friends, is the last words of the night, and we thank you for watching Political Point. Once again, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history. All right. Follow me on Twitter at WilliamMitro2, and we are out of here. All right. Okay. And also, check us out on YouTube. All right. Yep. All right. We thank you for watching Political Point, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history. Okay. All right, my friends, here it is. Follow us on the web. Yep. At facebook.com/PetePolitical, myspace.com/politicalpoint. Email us at politicalpoints@hotmail.com and mccarpet24@hotmail.com, and check out my website on the Elmira City Hall Examiner. All right. Once again, thank you for watching Political Point, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history.